Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat or Catherine and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. If you're new here, this has been my little space on the internet where I have documented my knitting journey from Project 1 through to now. And if you're a returning viewer, it's really lovely to see you again. Quite a few things to talk about today. I guess because last week I did a kind of how I knitted my knitted dress kind of explanation, so I have 2 weeks worth of knitting right as opposed to just the one. Up front I want to say it might look a bit different at the moment, and that is we recently went on a walk fairly local to home, as you expect. Don't need to talk about that now really, don't need to explain. But Alex swapped lenses to take a photograph of us, and he left my recording lens in the middle of the nature reserve, and we did actually go back the next evening and it was not there. So we are using a slightly different lens. It adjusts and I can't quite get it the same, so here we are. If the recording looks slightly different, that might be why. Secondly, little Audrey was just asleep, but in the process of me bringing things closer, she got up and had some of her crunchies. So little Audrey usually, or more often than not, sits on her falling apart sofa bed that we made for her. I'm thinking that I might replace that in the coming year. Maybe it'll be a good autumn project, ready for winter for her, so she can maybe have a nice Christmas gift of a fresh bed. I do have some foam which I'm actually sat on that I was thinking about doing it with too, so it will be a bit better than using the I think there's an old quilt in here, which is fine, but obviously it doesn't hold its shape like upholstery foam does. Anyway, yeah, I am really happy to see you again. I have not been feeling 100% today, if I'm, just being transparent. I don't often stay in bed later than sort of 7:30. I find it very difficult. My circadian rhythm wakes me up earlier than that every day, and I did stay in bed till 8:10 today. So my body obviously needs rest, and whilst I was thinking maybe I would not record this week, I thought actually I really enjoyed talking to you and the connection that it brings. So with that, I thought it was a good opportunity to sit down with a cup of tea. Well, it smells really good. I am drinking nettle with lemon balm, olive leaf, what else is in it? Licorice root. I think that's it. I think that's all that's in this one. But it's a really nice blend. It's one of the blends that I have when I'm feeling a little bit like my chronicness is coming back, and it seems to help me for some reason. Whatever's in it does me good. So I am opting for that today. And yeah, it's really nice to just sit down. I was worried that the rain was going to be too noisy and the builders, but I think we're okay. Yeah, hi. That was quite a long bit of waffle. I guess I'll show you some knitting. So I'm wearing both me-made all me-made items. I've even got take my slippers off. I've got me-made socks. These are my Bluebell Yarns sort of vanilla sock with Eye Partridge heel. Love this yarn so far. It's I want to say Wensleydale or mohair, but I might be wrong. But it's a lovely yarn. I'm wearing a sort of maquette mock-up of a hinterland dress, which is a pattern from So Liberated. I'll maybe put in a picture. And this is my You Imply Middle Earth, Shropshire DK, Whistlebear Yevering Bell, and then a mix of yarns. It's just a top that I improvised and shared the little motif for a few weeks ago. And the reason that I'm showing that, I happen to be wearing it, but it's because I made and finished another item with the same motif. This one I kind of refer to as my cottagecore goth cardigan. Yeah, so this I've been referring to as my cottagecore goth kind of cardigan, and I'm still really undecided if I will keep this for myself. I think I might, because it very much goes with a lot of what I own, and I have been hoping for a a grey cardigan like this. I have tried it on with my band t-shirts, which is what I had intended it to go with, but I'm not convinced. I think it's just too nice and should be worn with just linen, really, if I'm honest. That's kind of my vibe. Obviously each to their own, but that's what I would probably do. So yeah, I improvised this, but I did a swatch in this Drops Nepal, and then I reworked the pattern from here, that I liked, what I liked about it, what I didn't, adjusted it accordingly, and added some steek stitches in the front. And then I knit it bottom up in the round, starting with the fun motif, which I did in Drops Nepal, and then quite a wealth of other yarns. I have not blocked this, just FYI. I tend not to block things, especially for YouTube. I don't know, I think I will wash it once I've worn it a few times. I'm happy with it so far. So anyway, I knitted it in the round bottom up, and then knit from the underarms flat, but I did the whole front and the whole back because I had steek stitches, which was quite cool, until I got to here, and then I did worked the shaping separately. I'm not sure, because I don't think I haven't done a steeked cardigan quite like this in quite a long time. I think the last one I finished was February last year. I opted to do the button band, which has no buttons in, and then the collar, and I think I forgot that I needed a selvage stitch here, so I could have made that look a little bit more finished, but I know for next time, and I'm really not the most fussy person. I like to do things as good as I can, but I don't think it looks terrible, so I have stuck with it. I opted for one colour ribbing on the front. I kind of wanted it to be very simple but highlight this texture, so I did a little bit of that on the sleeves, which I did quite oversized for me. I might be able to put it on over this. Yeah. Oh, shows you how beige this greige is. And then suck them in at the end, so to speak. It's not right. Worked quite significant decreases to pull it in, and I'm really happy with that shape. I can imagine, Alex said about it too, I think it would be quite cool to either put a big button here at the bottom because of the way it sits, it looks quite nice, or just wear a shawl pin to pull it in. But I quite liked the idea of using the fact that the fisherman's rib's a bit chunky and cinching it in at the waist, so you can still see the flowers and the ribbing, but it's just pulled in here. But yeah, I don't know what else I have to say to this, about this, but I really like it. But I did knit a baby jumper for a friend who's due in just a few weeks now, potentially sooner given her current body feelings. I don't know, maybe I'd knit her another one because she's maybe a bit more goth than me. I'm not that, and I think this is a perfect middle ground for my wardrobe. This kind of pulls out all of the colours that I wear, apart from that fuchsia pink, which I gotta say I'm quite enjoying. So yeah, all that to say, this was a really fun project. I've learned quite a bit recently about shaping, I guess, which I didn't quite understand before, and I really would like to learn more about it. And I think for me this is one of the best ways of doing it because I can see the difference. So I did a dropped shoulder here, very much so, whereas on this one I opted to pull it up quite a lot, and I figured that if I wanted to I could pull it up and do a nice cap sleeve, which I really like the way that looks. But I did know that I was going to stick with quite oversized sleeves, and I thought that this works. I really like these sleeves and would be inclined to repeat that on garments going forward. Yeah, very happy. If you have any questions on any of these things, please do ask. Like I said, I feel a bit weird today, not quite myself, and I know I can often, in the excitement of sharing things, forget parts of what I, quotation marks, should share when it comes to these items. Like, I don't often share needle sizes because it's so personal. I think I was going to go up to 4.5mm and I didn't, which did mean that I had to go nip back into my, I was going to say Excel, but my spreadsheet, and just adjust the gauge and made a few little tweaks so that I could knit it at the slightly denser gauge, which I'm really happy that I did, because it still has quite a nice drape because it's got that alpaca in it. So yeah, really happy with this one, really happy, and maybe I will do baby mama a lovely ranunculus instead if I don't gift her this. I can't decide. I'm quite grateful that I've got the option, but maybe I'll offer it up and say, which one would you prefer? But I don't want to knit another ranunculus for me. So we'll see. We will see. As you can tell, I'm a bit indecisive, but very happy. Let's put this down. Give you a little, oh sweetheart. Next one. This, I did take this off my head today because I had a lockdown chop down. I don't know. I finally cut my hair. I haven't cut my hair since we got married in September, and it was well overdue. So I cut my hair and washed it and haven't put a hat on yet. And was trying to give myself a couple of days, but obviously I've just chucked it up. So anyway, this basically lives on my head at all times now. It's super light. I can't get over how good this colour is. I mean, I'm wearing lilac and green and greige, and this still goes. It goes with, for some reason, everything in my wardrobe. Mary sent me a plate of this gorgeous Newton yarn, and this, both me and little Audrey, it's picking up. I just can't comprehend how good this colour goes with everything, but also how nice it feels. It is the lightest weight thing. It's like mohair, but not. It was really nice to knit with. I held the Newton double throughout this hat. Can't remember the needle size. I think it was 3.5 that I opted for. And if you haven't heard of Newton, at this point I'd be surprised. Everyone seems to know it. But it is gorgeous. It's made by two lovely people, and every single plate's different basically. Every single colourway is basically one of a kind from what I understand. It is just a very, very special yarn made in a very, very special way. I never thought I'd get to knit it. So Mary just, I still can't get over it. Just thank you so much. And yeah, it is an unspun yarn. I have a little bit here which I've taken off, which means that it's not twisted, as you can see, it just is. And if you just pull it apart, so it's very different to knit with. If you're knitting with it on its own, it is a little bit more of a challenge than knitting with something spun, but I'm quite a loose knitter, or a relaxed knitter I should say, as opposed to loose. I'm discovering more and more that I am sitting more in line with many other knitters now, but I'm quite relaxed with it, so it does tend to glide through fine. But I did find it, holding it double made such a difference. As you can see, it's got a lot more strength once you hold it double. But yeah, I kind of almost went to do a Life Aquatic Bill Murray hat, Steve Zissou hat, but this was the style. I've got a black one that I knitted very similar to this that I have been quite drawn to over the last few months, so I thought I'd repeat it in this. And I thought a hat was a really good way of getting used to the yarn and kind of how it feels, how it works. I did do the decreases a little bit looser, and I only opt for 4, so it's got these kind of little points. But again, I haven't blocked this, I've just worn it quite a bit. So we'll see what happens. When it might smooth out a bit, it might not, and actually I just love it. Very simple hat, 1x1 rib, stockinette, and then some decreases. Oh, it's so nice. But I have this left, and I'm gonna weigh it, because it might be that I can get another hat out of it. But maybe not. And it might go into maybe some colour work. There is a gorgeous cardigan by LB Hand Knits that I've been looking at and considering. I think it would be lovely to knit the colour work section in this, just for a pop of colour that seems to go with everything. But we'll see. Like I said, I feel a bit strange, and I feel a bit like I have a few projects that I want to completely finish and clear my needles. I feel like almost spring refresh is in order, and kind of haven't got that many plans for what I want to knit going forward, which once upon a time might have made me feel a little bit like, what now? But I feel quite nice about it. I feel like I can take a bit of time over the next few weeks as I'm finishing these to consider what my next ones will be. I will cast on another pair of no nylon socks. I think I might use the onion yarn next. The nettle and wool. But we'll see. I don't know why that was. But I'll show you this one just briefly. It is still essentially a stockinette tube, but I'm really into this colour, and I'm really into the idea of wearing this with just black jeans, my dark grey, almost black dress. I just think it's a good colour. I don't often wear this sort of colour. It is absolutely a lovely, lovely yarn. I was really surprised that it could feel this soft. 50% merino, 25% organic cotton and 25% silk. And it feels like it's going to be one of those almost perfect summer blends. Like, so much softer than linen, which I do love. I love linen. But this was another gorgeous yarn, all the way from Denmark, sent by Maud, and there's another project coming up, so Maud, thank you so much. I honestly, my heart, I feel so grateful that the community here is just I hope that by using these yarns that are new to me and I otherwise wouldn't be able to purchase or use, at least sharing my experience with them might be helpful in some way. I don't know. Or inspire you as to what you can do with it. But this is the hair tank. As I said, it's not much more than a stockinette tube at the moment. It has a rolled hem, and I think I might have done one size too big for me, really, but we will see. I kind of felt like it would be a better one to have a lot looser and then to have one of my cotton framework bralettes underneath. So I'm sticking with it, but I'm not picking this up quite as much as the other two projects, just because I've recently wanted something a little bit more challenging isn't the right word, but I guess that holds my attention. We haven't watched that much television, which has been really good, back to a more normal amount for us. And I find that if I'm knitting stockinette now, I'm starting to lose my focus a bit, and I think that's just excitement about roller skating, tiredness, just a lot of things that have all amalgamated to stockinette being a bit like, oh, I could do this with my eyes shut. I would like a bit more thought to be going in, which is why I've picked up these other projects instead, if that makes sense. So this has been sort of out and about, walking or chatting with people, if that makes sense. It's not that I'm not, because I enjoy stockinette 100%, but with less and less, you know, connection time, which I'm really hoping to do more knit nights. I feel like I've really missed out on those lately. D&D has been really fun, and the next project I'm going to show you, I did a lot of this while playing D&D on Sunday. So yeah, I feel like it's a bit of a shift in balance at the moment, and hopefully I will find a bit more concentration for knitting stockinette or a really good TV show that I can sink our teeth into, and you know, does that make sense? Oh, you sweetheart. So yeah, I'll show you this one quickly before I show you the next one, actually, because I mean, next week will be the last week that I share this, which is amazing that it's gone so fast. But we are on the last week of our knit-along, and this is the Spring Intentions wrap that I designed in Whistlebear yarn, and I'm really enjoying it. I love these colours, but this is the sample that is going to make its way up to Northumberland to live on Whistlebear Farm. And yeah, I've been knitting this one along with everyone else for the knit along. Can't believe that the 7 weeks went by as quick as they did. We started it on the spring equinox and finished it, well, the last section was released the day before Beltane, which was really interesting to learn a bit about on our knit night. This is Cheviot Marsh. This one is the Serenity colourway, and I would like to knit something in this, I think. This is natural, all at sea. I've put a pattern page up now on my Ravelry that has all the colours listed, so that might be an easier way than listing them all out and pointing to them now, for you to see them if you're interested. But this project has been really special to me. It's kind of opened up my mind to things that we could do going forward. I haven't planned anything. I've had a few questions about if we'll do another one. Maybe. I think it would be really nice to. it took a lot more thinking to put the words that I felt into written words to be read. So maybe I would do it video based next time. I don't know. And just thinking, it's quite nice actually doing this. Think about things in a different way. Yeah, so the wrap came with a separate PDF which had links to videos, recipes, clever people's information on, say, swatching, or like I really tried to make it a bit more than just a pattern, and it felt there was a lot more connection than I'd previously experienced in a knit along. We had a knit night once a week. It was just lovely. I will stop waffling about it, but if you're a fairly new knitter, this is a really nice project to sink your teeth into, I think, because it's just knit and purls with the addition of a knitted I-cord edging. So that is literally the only technique that you do aside from a cast on, a bind off, a knit and purl, which is a fairly easy technique to get your head around. So yeah, I don't know. I don't want to waffle about it too much, but this has been really special for me, and I'm very grateful for everyone that's taken part and shared their knowledge too. There's been a lot of beautiful words shared, and even just, you know, links to videos that are quite special. And I don't know what I did there. So this final project I'm really happy and excited about. When I say I didn't want to do much more stockinette, I did cast on something that meant that I was challenging my brain a little bit, and it held my interest without having to have sound on in the background or anything like that. And I will show you quickly the project bag it's living in because it made me cry. To be honest, I think I've bought 2 project bags in my life, and I now probably have project bags for the amount of projects that I keep on my needles, and sort of in, not languishing, but ones that I put to the side where I want to consider. So I've got one that I've got my Peace Please project in. I've got one with a shawl that I really want to, I'll share next week if I've come to an idea with what I want to do with it. And I've got a gorgeous handmade one, which is one of my favourite ones, that was made for me by this lovely human being. Now this is so cute, and like I said, it made me cry with joy. Natalia of Nat Knits Crafts sent Alex and I matching project bags. It couldn't have been better timed because, I'll see if I can show you. I'm going to have to lint roll this, but little Audrey keeps sleeping on Alex's Gansey. My mohair is very much getting on it. And Alex was using a Wool Warehouse organza bag, and the tie broke on it and all of these things. So he kind of just ignored using it and just had it on the side of the sofa, but Audrey likes it. But this is it's just really sweet. The inside is absolutely gorgeous and has these really well interfaced, I think, pockets that are quite sturdy. It sits up on its own and has this, so I'm going to have to teach Alex how to knit on the go. He's nearly ready to divide for the sleeves. In fact, I think he's already at that point because he was knitting on socks last night instead. So that's going to be exciting. We have to wait until we've got a bit more daylight together to make that happen. But yeah, so we have matching project bags. I actually took mine out for my walk. This loop is just brilliant for knitting on the go. And this is a bit more of a fun colour, I would say, for me to knit. Some might be surprised. So I have been using, this is the gorgeous wool that Maud sent. I loved this colour, and I can't get over how soft it is, because if you look at it, it kind of looks a bit rustic. It looks a bit more Jameson and Smith. But I'd say it's softer than that by a significant amount. It's gorgeous. It is 100% wool, fingering weight, and then this is the last of it. I had two skeins of this, and this was picked up in a stash last summer, and I did intend on knitting this as a Christmas gift, but it's going to be gifted when it's done, I think. I'm hoping to have it finished very soon and to go and visit and go for a walk very soon. Charlotte, if you're my little sister and you're watching, avert your eyes. I don't know. Highly unlikely that you are here, but just in case. Unless you don't want a surprise, that's fine. But I think this is called Deep End by Hedgehog Fibres. So yeah, these, I did a little tiny swatch, and I was like, wow, this fabric is really cool. To the point where I was kind of like, I would really like something in this, probably for roller skating in, because I think with roller skating you can be a little bit, well, I could feel a bit more brave in my choices. Oh yeah, my interior lining is a white version. It's really cute. And I do have cables and needles in here because I've already finished the body of this. So this is gonna, the colour's never gonna be accurate on this one, I don't think. This is the Easy Teasy by Alison Cribbs, I want to say. Shall I check that? I'll check it. I was right, Alison Cribbs. That for a while the pattern was free, and I think it's now a paid for pattern. I'm not sure if I read it wrong or I don't know. There seems to be a few little things that are a bit off, which is not to say it's bad. It's a beautiful pattern, beautifully written really, but there are a few things that if I was a newer knitter I might question, and yeah, so it's I mean, I'm working from it fine, but I think there's a few things that are a little bit off. And yeah, this knit up really quickly because it was quite moorish. You cast on the collar and then work the back and pick up stitches for the front. It's quite a cool construction, quite, how do I say? Well, it kept me entertained, and that's just what I needed at the moment. You do pick up stitches, and I opted to go a little bit deeper to give almost like a, you know, if you do a 3-needle bind off, but on the wrong side. I quite like that. It's almost like a really good full seam, but I thought it would be quite a nice feature to add, like to make a bit more of a feature of it rather than picking up just a little bit. And yeah, it's not pulled too much, I don't think. It's mohair and it's fun. The eyelet pattern is really easy to remember. It's quite memorable, and once you have, you can just knit down. So it was really relaxing. I actually did a lot of this knitting playing Dungeons and Dragons and on one of our walks that I will share with you after I finish waffling. Because of the lovely handle on this bag, it was particularly nice. I was able to knit on the go very, very comfortably, which a satchel bag is, but I almost felt like, because I have a rucksack on most of the time, I like to have water and snacks with me. I maybe don't need to carry so much, but I do. Camera, this is quite nice because it's no extra weight on the shoulders. But yeah, so all I have to do now is pick up for the world's tiniest sleeves. It's a very few amount of rounds. It says to do them in stockinette, but I think I might do them in ribbing. And I might not do as many rows as suggested and do them in ribbing instead. We will see. But yeah, really fun to knit, really quick to knit, and that's that for that one. But it's really fun that it's living in this very special bag. And if you can, for reasons, I won't give a name, but this was a logo drawn from Natalia's daughter, and I just love it. It's very sweet, and I think it might have a little spelling error. But as someone that has had a temperature for nearly 4 years, being called Heater and Hops probably makes more sense than Heather and Hops. Yeah, anyway. I hope that wasn't too much waffle. I hope that whilst I felt a little bit deflated, or not deflated, flat at the start, I feel a bit better now just from talking, so thank you. If you're still here, thank you for listening to me chat. It is really nice to feel part of this sort of magical community that comes together even when we're all so far apart. It honestly, it melts my brain. On Sunday night we were playing with people across the world, and knit nights are the same. Like, it's very rare that all of us are in one country, which is really cool. I do hope that in the future we get to meet in real life and there's events that help bring us together. I think we'll see, but it sounds like Yorkshire Yarn Festival is planning an in-person event. I'm not sure how ready I am for that yet, but also if it will even go ahead. But the thought of going and seeing knitters and seeing yarn in real life really is something that is bringing me a nice amount of hope, I think. And seeing friends, I know that a few friends, if it goes ahead, will be there, and that's just definitely enticing. And there's also some roller skating. I don't have any roller skating videos really to share this week, I don't think. I haven't been recording very much. I haven't skated too much either. The rain's kind of made it not very nice at the skate park. It's been really windy as well. I did fall over and I hurt my bottom, but I do have bum pads, which if you are a new skater like myself, I know there's quite a lot of knitters on wheels now, which is a hashtag we've been using on Instagram. Safety gear. I mean, I'm sure we're all sensible and that, but it does make a big difference. Bum pads, brilliant. Highly recommend them. And yeah, I'm excited to get on my skates. I think I'm going to have a little play indoors after I've edited this, maybe before. We'll see. But anyway, thank you so much for being here. I really hope you're well. I hope that no matter what you get up to, you have a little bit of time for yourself, for some knitting, some making. I'm also on the lookout for some crochet patterns. I think that might be a fun thing to do before I recrochet little Audrey a new sofa, which she probably won't use, let's face it. She will probably prefer this one. I kind of fancy a little bit of something different. If you've got any beautiful crochet patterns, do let me know. And with that, have a lovely rest of your week. Be well. Stay connected. I know that for me is one of the biggest things that helps me feel a little bit better. It does, which is why I'm really pleased that I came on today. So yeah, Thank you so much. Thank you to those that were part of the Spring Intentions knit along. We're hoping to put together a little video that's almost like a little time capsule of where everyone is, if they finished, if they didn't, that's okay, but I think it's quite wonderful to see everyone come together in a way that's slightly different and to share different combinations and yarn colours and all of that. Anyway, I'm just feeling a bit better and clearly just want to chat. So with that, don't forget to love each other.